Hello guys, welcome to chapter 13 of 5G and our physical layer concepts. In this chapter we will study about carrier frequency offsets, which is commonly known as CFO. CFO, which is a very frequent phenomena which occurs in OFDM systems, and as we know that 5GNR is a OFDM based system, so CFO affects 5GNR also. Yeah, so let's start. Okay, so let's try to understand that why we are studying CFO. Due to high spectral efficiency and robustness to multipath fading channels, OFDM is becoming the technique of choice for high data rate transmission. This is one of the reasons that 5GNR is OFDM based system. But OFDM is very sensitive to synchronization errors, and in the presence of such inaccuracies, the performance of an OFDM system can be greatly degraded. Two mismatches are particularly harmful to the OFDM system: the carrier frequency offset or the CFO and the sampling clock offset or the SCO. So these two offsets induces amplitude reduction and phase rotation of the demodulated data along with destroying the orthogonality between the subcarriers or the ICI, which is the intercarrier interference. So the ICI will behave like an additional noise and will therefore degrade the SNR and the performance of the OFDM system. Okay, so the conclusion is that the CFO is basically degrading the performance of the OFDM system, which is the motivation to understand the CFO and finding out the techniques to mitigate its effects.
Yeah, so first let's understand how up conversion and down conversion process works, which actually introduces CFO. Okay, so while we do up conversion, it is done something like this, that in the in phase signal we multiply it by cosine omega ct, and in the quadrature phase signal is multiplied by sine omega ct, where omega c is the center frequency or the carrier frequency. They are summed and then transmitted. Okay, let's assume this is yn and this we have transmitted. Okay, at the receiver, let's say for now, just for simplicity, let's say there is no channel and there is no LWGN noise. Okay, so at the receiver we receive a copy of yn. Okay, uh, so this signal here is multiplied by same cos omega c plus delta omega. So let's assume this. So this is not always guaranteed that the receiver center frequency and the transmitter center frequency are same. There could be some difference in them. Okay, so that difference is represented by delta omega here. Okay, and this is multiplied by sine omega c plus delta omega t. Then they are passed through a low pass filter. Okay, and finally we got a copy of xin and a copy of xqn. So I have wrote them as xi hat n and xq hat n, because if delta omega is not 0 or is non-zero, then xi hat n is not equal to xin. Okay, so to keep consistent, let's represent this in terms of t, not n. I mean, yeah, this is understandable. Okay, so here this delta omega is what we are trying to understand here: carrier frequency offset, or commonly known as CFO. Okay, so this is the process of up and down conversion. Okay, so here if we try to understand it more clearly, okay, I'll just change something to keep all the notations consistent. I'll write this as yt also. Okay, so to understand this as yt, we can write yt as a complex, in terms of complex envelope term, real of xt e to the j omega ct. Okay, and x hat t will be real of yt e to the minus j omega c plus delta omega t. Okay, and here this term is the CFO. Okay, this term is the CFO, which is actually causing a phase shift in time domain. Okay, so this is a CFO is frequency shift in time domain and phase shift, frequency shift in frequency domain and time shift in time domain. Okay, and this phase shift is time dependent. This we will understand more clearly as we go further. Okay, so this CFO, this is just a frequency shift in frequency domain and it's a phase shift in time domain. Okay, so this is just a DFT property. If you have not understood this concept, please watch my other lecture which is mentioned in the description. So if there is a frequency shift in frequency domain, it's a phase shift in time domain and vice versa. Okay. Yeah, now let's understand with this picture that how CFO hampers our sampling in frequency domain. Okay, so let's say this white one is our Lth subcarrier, this green is our L plus 1h subcarrier. Okay, so the principle of orthogonality says that whenever the Lth subcarrier is at maximum, the L plus 1h subcarrier is 0. Whenever L plus 1h subcarrier is maximum, LH subcarrier is 0. Fine. So that's how they are orthogonal. We know that OFDM, this O stands for orthogonal. Okay, and this is actually the principle. Of orthogonality. Okay, so I'll reiterate it. Whenever LH subcarrier is maximum and we do sample it here, L plus 1h subcarrier or L minus 1h subcarrier, the other subcarriers are 0. Whenever L plus 1h subcarrier is maximum where we sample it, the other subcarrier like LH subcarrier or L plus 2h subcarrier are 0. So this is the principle of orthogonality. If we maintain this, we have all the advantages of OFDM. Now, when there is CFO, instead of sampling at this point, the signal is sampled at somewhere like here. Okay, and this is equals to delta F, which is the CFO value. Okay, so what happens here is that when we do sample it at this point, LH subcarrier had some magnitude while L plus 1h subcarrier is also not 0. Okay, so at this point, let's say at point A, let's call it A. At point A, LH subcarrier has some magnitude while L plus 1h subcarrier is also not 0. So this is basically the interference. You can say it intercarrier interference also, where, so I'll reiterate it, because of CFO we have a new sampling point. And at this new sampling point, the principle of orthogonality is not maintained because along with LH subcarrier, the L plus 1h subcarrier is also not 0. But for principle of orthogonality, at the sampling point, we need only one subcarrier to be non-zero. Okay, so that's how the CFO hampers with frequency domain sampling and introduces distortion and inter-carrier interference. Okay, now let's try to understand more equations or more mathematics on CFO to understand that what it causes. So we said we know or we understand that CFO introduces distortion and inter-carrier interference or the ICI. So let's try to understand with the help of equations. Okay, so we will write our equations in discrete time. So x hat n can be written as we see in the previously, that it can be written like this. Okay, so x hat n. Okay, by solving this we actually can get this, or when we expand delta omega, it is something like this. Okay, where delta k represents CFO. Fine. So now let's try to understand this term. Let's take the Fourier transform or the DFT of x hat n. So I'll write this as x hat k, which is equals to 0 to n minus 1 x hat l to the power minus j 2 pi k l by n. Okay, delta k l by n e to the minus j 2 pi k l by n. Okay, this can be written as minus j 2 pi k plus delta k l by n. Fine. And yeah, we can further write this as writing xl as the inverse Fourier transform or the inverse DFT of xk. We can write, right? Okay, fine. So let's take this equation to the next page. Okay, so x hat k can be written as 1 upon n summation n equals to 0 to n minus 1 x k a to the power minus j 2 pi delta k n by n plus summation over L summation over n x k e to the j 2 pi minus L k by n to the minus j 2 pi delta k L by n. Okay, so this will be the condition when n is equals to L. This will be the condition when n is not equal to L. Okay, now focus here. If you don't understand these equations in first go, it's okay. The point to be focused is this: when n is equals to L, this is the condition. When n is not equal to L, this is the condition. Okay, so this term actually can be written as xk into d plus ICI. So this is nothing but, this term is nothing but inter-carrier interference, and this d term is a kind of scaling. Okay, so which represents distortion. So CFO introduces distortion and inter-carrier interference, and ICI is more dangerous. Okay, we can write, if you want, we can calculate D by some 1 upon n summation n equals to 0 to n minus 1, this phase term. Okay. So this is just a phase term, so it does not changes the power of the signal. So this is not the thing which we should more worry about. We should more worry about ICI. Okay. Okay. So now let's try to understand that how CFO is causing phase shift in our 5G NR system. Okay. So we know that in 5G NR system, the distribution or the resource grid, is like we have time domain or the symbol number 0, symbol number 1, symbol number 2 and so on. Let's say it's on x-axis, it's distributed as this, and on the y-axis we have the subcarriers. Okay, let's say 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay, so with CFO we understood that it actually introduces a phase shift. Okay, but to represent frequency domain, let's denote them with capital letters. Yk is equals to x k minus delta k. Okay, where delta k is the CFO. But how we will see it in the time domain? Yn is equals to xn e to the power minus j 2 pi and delta k by n. Okay, where n is the symbol number. Okay, and we see that this phase, let's say call it as theta, this phase theta is 2 pi delta k by n into n. This is symbol number dependent. This is symbol number dependent. Okay, so let's assume that we have two DMRS symbols. Okay, so let's say for add pause 2 or add pause 1, we have DMRS symbols on okay, I'll take it on the next page. For add pause equals to 1, the DMRS symbol numbers are 2 and 11, 0, 1, 2 and here. Let's say for single slot, okay, this is my DMRS and this is my DMRS. Okay, and here we have seen that the theta 2 pi delta k by n into n, this is dependent on symbol number. So basically the point here is to say, because of the CFO, the two DMRSs are not identical. Okay, or the other way, the DMRS, there will be a phase shift. There will be a phase shift in two DMRS symbols. Due to CFO, which can hamper in the tasks which are assigned to DMRS, for example for channel estimation. Okay, so because of the phase shift, the non-zero phase shift between the two DMRS symbols, the performance of the channel estimation will not be perfect, or the channel estimation performance will degrade. Okay, so if we look this in time domain, the phase shift or the CFO, if you plot theta across time, it will be a linear plot where the slope obviously is equals to 2 pi delta k by n. Okay. Yeah, so actually because of this nature of theta, it's very easy for OFDM systems with cyclic prefix to determine or to detect or to calculate the CFO. How? We know that theta is equals to 2 pi delta k by n into n. I'll not go into the exact algorithm, but I'll just give an overview that we know that in OFDM we transmit it with a cyclic prefix. So how it looks? One way to is understand is that we know that the cyclic prefix, we have this, if the we have the symbols 0 to n minus 1, some tail is appended in the beginning. Okay, we know the concept of cyclic prefix. uh, Fine. So it is something like this, that if we know the phase at symbol number I, and we know the phase at symbol number I plus n. Okay, so let's say theta at I 2 pi delta k by n into I, and because the data is same here, fine, the received signal yi will be, let's say, xi e to the j 2 pi delta k by n into I, and yi plus n xi plus n e to the j 2 pi delta k by n into I plus n. Okay, again I'm not explaining the exact algorithm, just an overview that how with the help of cyclic prefix we can determine CFO. Okay, we know theta I, or we can if we know 2 pi delta k I plus n, basically we have yi and yi plus n with us. Okay, and by subtracting their faces, because xi are same here, because they are the part of cyclic prefix, or the xi is part of cyclic prefix, let's say. Okay, so by subtracting theta I plus n, okay, again we have yi with us, because yi is the yi and yi plus n are the received signals. So by subtracting them, okay, we can actually determine the CFO. Okay, this is just a high level overview that how with the help of cyclic prefix we can determine CFO. Okay.
Okay, now we will run a MATLAB code to see how the constellation with CFO looks like. So we will basically simulate this particular equation where xn is the transmitted symbols and x hat n are the received symbols, and this phase term is because of the CFO. This delta k is actually the normalized frequency offset. Normalized means fc hat minus fc prime minus fc divided by fs, where fc prime is the center frequency at the receiver, fc is the center frequency at transmitter, and fs is the sampling frequency, and capital N is the 50 size. Okay, so let's see how the constellation looks like. Okay, so this is a MATLAB code to see how the constellation looks like for with CFO. Okay, so here the number of symbols are 100 and the 50 size is 1024, and yes, normalized CFO. Let's run. Okay, so yeah, when it is expected, so when the CFO is 0, the QPSK constellation looks as it is. It's the ideal constellation. Okay, so we are running for QPSK. So let's add normalized CFO as 0.1. Let's run it. Yeah, so this is how it looks. So here you see that, so actually I have plotted both together on the same plot with CFO and without CFO. So the blue points are without CFO and the red dots are with CFO. Okay, so every symbol got a phase shift, basically got an incremental phase shift, because we know the phase shift is 2 pi delta k by n into n, where n is the symbol number. Okay, so as we here we have taken 100 symbols, so because of 100 symbols, each symbol got an incremental phase shift. Okay, so this is how the constellation looks like with CFO. Now let's increase the normalized CFO, and with 0.2 it is like this. Basically the maximum phase shift will increase. Okay, and with 0.5 it will be like this. Okay, so this is normalized CFO 0.5, and let's increase the number of symbols to 10,000, let's say. Yeah, so basically it will cover the whole circle. Okay, so yeah, this condition is dangerous. Okay, so I'll also run or I'll also show you how the phase shift looks like. Okay, so on the x-axis is the symbol number, on the y-axis is the phase shift. So as expected, theta or the phase shift due to CFO is linear in nature. Okay, cool. Guys, you can post your queries in the comment section. Please share the video with your friends, colleagues to increase the knowledge about 5G. And please subscribe to the channel for more 5G NR lectures. You can also suggest any topic or related to 5G NR which you want to understand or which you want me to explain in the comment section. You can write that topic in comment section. Okay, thank you. Thanks.